everyone, welcome. My name is Lauren. I am a homeschooling mom of 3 girls. Thank you so much for being here. If this is your first time, welcome. So today we are going to talk about our Q2 update. So you'll notice that I still have my Christmas tree up and Christmas decor, and that's because Christmas has yet to happen yet. I am filming this pre-Christmas. We just finished wrapping up for the school year. However, I felt like posting this video during Christmas break, nobody's really thinking about school and updates and anything like that. So I decided to wait until the new year, Happy New Year everybody, to post this, because I feel like January is the time when people are starting to kind of reevaluate what they want to do, make any mid-year changes and things like that. I am going to have all of my curriculum videos below, as well as my Q1 update to see what changes we have made, so that you, if you're interested in seeing what we use, if not, that's okay too. First, we are going with morning time. So our morning time is going pretty well. We are still using the Good and the Beautiful Science. We have just wrapped up with the arthropods unit. It was good. It was good. I prefer the space unit better. I think that's just my opinion. I think they did a really good job with arthropods, but I just found space to actually be surprisingly I found that to be a pretty fascinating unit. And the reviews were split between my girls. They both liked both units, but I think it's just a personal preference. Then for our history, social studies, we are still using and loving Beautiful Feet Books Around the World with Picture Books. Part 1, we just finished Antarctica before Christmas wrapped up, so I thought it was perfect. I have found every single country that we have learned about to be fascinating. The books are amazing. It's just light and it just feels like a breath of fresh air. So I have a few videos about Beautiful Feet Books below too, so I'm not going to do a whole review on that. I'll probably do another lesson and a final review closer towards the end of the year, but just for now, we are really enjoying Beautiful Feet Books. So we focus on science, history, and Bible Monday through Thursday, and then Friday is when we do our states and capitals and nature study. So that is kind of, I'm going to be honest, falling a little bit through the cracks. We're doing okay with the states and capitals. I wish we were doing better. It's a little rough right now. We're supposed to be doing 2 a week, and I think we haven't gotten that far. As far as the nature study, I had this beautiful book. I was so excited. I did an unboxing and I was very excited to do it, and I still want to, and I love it, but I think it's just a little bit too, what's the word? It's not the book, it's me. It's just who I am, my personality. We were doing the nature study book, went in one ear and out the other. You know what I mean? It wasn't something that we were like passionate about and dwelling on. So my mom actually really loves it. She helps me with homeschooling a few days a week while I work twice a week. And so she was like, I'll do this with the girls. So she's gonna do that starting January. She is going to be doing some nature study with the girls. We have to figure out geography though, because that's kind of falling through the cracks. So I have to reevaluate. Also, we're just trying to start in general a little bit sooner. We start around, my goal is around 9. But by the time we finish our morning time, we only take like a 10 or 15 minute break and then get into our lessons. We are still, I just feel like school is going on longer than I want it to. We have never been the type, well, not in the last 2 years or so, to just finish school within 2 hours. I don't understand how people do that, and we can't. And it's not that we're wasting time or piddling around or anything like that. We are going the whole time. It just takes us longer than 2 hours. So we're not finishing, and then by the time they eat lunch and then we all have some quiet time in the afternoon, they're not getting quite as much time as I would like to play. And in the morning, they're up pretty early-ish. And so I just feel like we don't need to waste time in the morning. So I'm trying to get us started a little bit earlier. That month of December is kind of all over the place, but starting in January when we get back, I'm trying to start around 8. just because in the morning we don't need that much free time. You know what I mean? So start a little earlier. That way we can end a little earlier and they can play more in the afternoon. I think I'm going to switch things around a little bit. We're gonna see how it goes, but I kind of want to try to do our lessons in the morning, where we just do our book work, our math and language, reading lessons, all of that completely done in the morning first thing, and then do our morning time, at lunch or like in the afternoon. I feel like that I don't really have too much rhyme or reason why I want to do that. I don't have like a profound reason, but I just think that it will give us, again, this goes back to like the time thing, feeling like we're trying to rush, like to hurry up, like, oh my gosh, it's already 1:30, like hurry, we have to finish, come on, and I don't want school to be like that at all. Like these are amazing, wonderful days that I want to look back and cherish and not have them feel like we were always rushed. So I'm trying to work, either it's setting school back an hour ahead, whatever, 8 o'clock instead of 9 o'clock. And then maybe switching around how we do morning time. I don't know. I'm going to have to kind of play with it a little bit, and I'll kind of let you know what works for us. But even 4 years into this, which I know compared to many people, who've done this for 10, 15 years, that's not a lot, but you're still trying to figure things out and see what's going to work best for you. I think every year you honestly have to do that. So that's kind of what we're doing now. As far as actual lesson goes with schooling multiple children. So I have a kindergartner, a second grader, and a fourth grader. So my kindergartner, she was going first, and I always recommend, not always, every situation is going to be different, but I think for most people it works to do the younger child first, and that way they are kind of like they've done all their learning, and then they can kind of go play, or she can entertain herself pretty well now. It wasn't always like that, but now she's a little bit better at that. And so I was doing all of her work, and while I was doing her lessons, her math and her language, my second grader and my fourth grader would do their independent work. So their spelling and handwriting and things like that. And then when I was finished with my kindergartner, I would do a math with my second, and then a math with my fourth grader, and then a language arts with my second grader, and a language arts with my fourth grader. And I guess kind of at the end of the day, I would like look over everybody's work, and if anyone had questions, that kind of interrupted all throughout. And I kind of felt like I was scattered and all over the place, and I couldn't really focus on one child at a time. And so that just wasn't really working. It was working, it was fine, but it wasn't really what I wanted. And so what I decided to do a few weeks ago, and is working great, and consider it if you're like, how should I feel all stretched out and pulled in all different directions. So I still do, obviously, my kindergartner first. She still does all her work. That hasn't changed. I still do all her lessons at once. But and they're still doing their independent work while I'm working with her. But I take my second grader, I will do her math lesson with her. And while she's doing the independent section of that, I'm going to review her independent work. And then we do her language lesson, and she does the independent part of that. So I am looking over all her independent work, making corrections as needed, whereas opposed to I was previously like waiting towards the end of the day when school was already over, and it's like, oh yeah, get back here, you gotta fix that. And that's just kind of like, really, so I kind of want to do it all together on the spot. If I see a correction, we can work through the problem. She does all, both of her lessons together. Everything is corrected. And then when her time, if she has any questions or anything she was stuck on, I just say, wait till it's your turn. And then we go through all that together. And then when her chunk of time is done, then she is finished with school for the day. So Lola is finished from kindergarten for the day because she doesn't really have independent work. Lexi is done. And then Larissa, my oldest, she obviously has more work than the other two. So she is during this time is still doing her independent work, which is Spanish and typing and her handwriting and her regular writing and all of those things. She's doing spelling, all of that by herself. And then when it's her turn, she comes and that's again when I just focus directly on her. We do her math lesson, we do her language, her language arts review, and I check over all her work, any corrections that she needs to be made. That's when I do that as well. And so when she is done with her chunk of time, with her section, then she is done for the day. And that way I feel like I'm really focused. I only am working with one child at a time. Yes, do I still get interrupted? Of course. But for the most part, it's been working really well, and it's going very smoothly, just focusing on that child, and they have all your attention, and you can just focus that rather than me being scattered, going back and forth and back and forth. And so I wish I honestly would have done this a few years ago. That would have worked out much better. But I don't think Lexi, my second grader, had the attention span until this year, actually. So maybe not. It probably wouldn't have worked. She didn't have the attention span to do all her work all at once. So I know some children don't have that they need a break after one lesson. So it may not. But whatever child it does work with, I think it is helpful to focus as much as you can on one child at a time. And then for Read Alouds, we finished Lottie Moon, which was a missionary story. Amazing. Man, having that perspective I just think it's so important that we read about people who lived in different time periods than us, whether it's the Bible, whether it's, medieval times, whether it's a missionary from the 1800s. Just to give us perspective, on life today. Sometimes as America, don't get me started. Okay, I'm just gonna stop. We need different perspectives on how other people lived. I'm a strong believer in that. So we've read Lottie Moon, and now we're reading David Livingstone, who was a missionary to Africa. And so we're just getting into that now. And I just find these stories fascinating, how different life was back then compared to how it is today. So I highly recommend not just fiction books, but reading biographies. And yes, my kids are little, and sometimes I think, is this too much? Should I wait till they're a little bit older? But I don't think so. I think it's important to start at this age, even if you think they're too little for it. So yes, highly recommend those books. We also finished A Ranger in Time, as well as reading The Mouse and the Motorcycle. We're almost finished with that one. And then we also have, if you're interested in Shakespeare, but you don't it's too much for elementary age kids to read all his, sonnets and plays and all that. I recommend this series. I got it on eBay, a series of 15 books, and it's all his classics, but they're abridged and they have some pictures in it, and it's short. It's a short read. We read it in 2 days, 3 days. And so it's really cool to see just his different styles written down so that children can understand them. And then lastly, as far as this is getting back to some of the goals that I had mentioned for the beginning of the year, was our field trips, wanting to do those every year. I joked that after October, we do it one in September and one in October, and then that's the end of them. So we didn't do one in December, but we did, one in November. Actually, we didn't do one in December either. Oh wait, you know what? Okay. So as far as that, we are semi doing those. Again, I need to get back on, and yikes. If you are looking for just super organizational and super put together person who is just going to inspire me and motivate me to be all that I can be, I think you've come to the wrong channel. I feel like I'm fairly organized, but I joke that my personality is not in type A. But it's not type B either. It's more type A minus. And yeah, I have all the best intentions in the world, but as far as the execution, that doesn't always happen. And that is something that I'm trying to work on, because inside I have this deep inner organizer, and so strong inside of me. But then when it comes to making it a reality, it's kind of But December is not over yet. Again, like I said, at this time, it's still not even Christmas. So we have one planned for our Christmas break. So we're going to do that. As far as Lola goes, she is in kindergarten. We are still doing Abeka language arts for her. I have mentioned that the student or the teacher guide, the parent guide is a little bit like, oh, for me. It's a lot. It's a lot. I have done the first, the second, and the third grade language arts teacher guide, whatever lesson plans. And I feel like from kindergarten to first to second to third, the amount of extra goes down a lot. So by third grade, it's pretty streamlined and minimal, which I really like. But in kindergarten, there's just so many moving parts. And we're only like 60 lessons in of 170. I feel like at this point we should be like, it's Christmas and we just finished, she just colored a Thanksgiving page. So I know we're a little like behind on that. I'm really not worried, to be honest. This is the first year that if we were behind, I haven't been like, having a little slight panic attack. I like, okay, all right, Lauren, we're not stressing out about being behind. Back to what I was saying with the lesson plans, it took me about until lesson maybe 45 or 50 to figure out like what worked for us and what was a good group for us. And it wasn't a matter of, well, this just isn't maybe it's not a right fit for you, because that's not the case. I've had that before. And I know when it's a good fit and when it's not. And this is a good fit and it works. And I really love the Abeka program. And I'm not really going to do another one or jump ship. But I am a very determined person, and I was determined to make it work for us and to figure out like how I can take the lesson plan book and make it work. So I'm gonna leave that closer towards the end of the year to do a whole video on that. But it's finally kind of making it work for us. I'm a big believer in switching things around as needed. In order to make a curriculum that you love and you know is a good fit, but maybe not every single aspect of it works for you. So she's doing well with that. She's doing some reading, and it is so exciting to see. Like, I feel like that's the best feeling ever is when sorry, my dog's here sleeping next to me. So when you finally, like, they get the letters and the sounds and they're starting to read, like, it's just such a good feeling. So she's doing that. She's doing the Good and the Beautiful math, level 5, no, she's doing level K for the Good and the Beautiful, and we're doing well with that. So she is just moving right along. She is a young kindergartner. She didn't turn 5 until end of September. So I was a little bit nervous. Like, I didn't know how it was going to go, but she is keeping right up. Lastly, for her, something that I added was Evan Moore thinking skills. Or I did this with my middle one when she was in kindergarten. Lola has the Abeka thinking skills ones, but it's not like an everyday thing. So I added the Evan Moore, and Lola really likes it, and it's working really well. It's just a little sheet, and there is some math in it, but it is, again, logic and critical thinking. So for my second grader, Alexia, there's not very much to update with her. She's doing pretty well. So I mentioned in my previous update video of Q1 that we had switched her from Abeka, or no, actually it was like 3 weeks into the year. So it was way even before that. So we had switched her from Abeka second grade to the Good and the Beautiful level 2. And so she's still doing really well. She was able to transition pretty well from Abeka first grade into the Good and the Beautiful level 2. I had to do a few things to kind of catch her up as far as grammar is concerned, but she is doing really well with level 2 with that. And then she went from the Good and the Beautiful math to the new Good and Beautiful math. She did level 1 last year and is doing level 2 now. And it was a really good transition as well. There's no issues. There's no hiccups or anything. She was able to transition pretty well into that. So I mentioned in my last video that she was doing Chinese. She was learning Mandarin on Duolingo. That is going, it could be going better, I guess, is how I can say it. she has not really stuck with it very much. And I mean, I don't really blame her. That's pretty difficult, like, especially because we don't even use the same characters for our letters. It's not like Spanish, you know, it's completely different. So she does it on and off, but we'll see how it goes. Again, this was nothing that I prompted her to do. She did this on her own. She wanted to make the account and learn it. So we're gonna see how it goes. I'm not gonna hold her extremely accountable if she doesn't stick with learning that. It's okay. And then she wanted to learn the violin. I mentioned that. So we have signed her up for violin lessons, and she's doing pretty well. She's got herself some hot cross buns under her belt, and she's trucking right along. She really likes it. So I'm happy for her that she likes her violin. And she is so excited when she finally gets it. It's really fun to see her face. So that is the update for her. For Larissa, who is in 4th grade, she is still doing the Good and the Beautiful level 4 for math and for language arts as well. She's still doing typing from typing.com. I recommend that. It's free, and it teaches the child everything they need to know. She can type now. So it's pretty cool, pretty awesome to see that. And then she is doing her Spanish from Duolingo again, which is another free online program. Highly recommend it. She likes it so far. For Spanish, I might have to add some supplemental things probably next year. For now, we're okay with this, but for next year, I probably will. So, let me know if you do Spanish for like 4th, 5th grade, 3rd grade, whatever this age is. Let me know some good resources, because I am open to any and all suggestions for that. I mean, my husband can speak Spanish. You'd think I'd use him. That would be like the obvious way, but he doesn't just a little bit of a personal thing. He doesn't really like to speak it because he doesn't feel comfortable with it. He doesn't feel like he does a good enough job. I think honestly, he's better than he gives himself credit for. He is. He can do more than conversational Spanish. Like, he's pretty good. But anyway, as far as like curriculum and programs go, let me know. And then I mentioned she wanted to do piano. She has started taking piano lessons with my sister, who teaches piano lessons on the same exact piano that I played piano on for 10 years when I took my piano lessons. So I thought that was pretty fun, pretty special, how it all comes full circle, that she is learning from my sister taking and playing the same piano that I did. So that is fun to see. And she's doing great, awesome at it. So I'm really proud of her. And can I just say, I just have to give a shout out to this child. I don't know where she gets it from. And this is not to brag on me in any way, shape, or form. This just shows how wonderful God created all of us and how different He has created all of us, and how we're all wired so differently. But she is such a very determined and very self-motivated and extremely self-disciplined person, which can be, there's good and bad to all personality types. But she determined last year that she wanted to read the Bible through in a year, and she had her little plan that she had from the back of her Bible. She did it. I know it's still towards the end of the year, but there's only like 15 days left of the year. But she has not missed a day, not a day. She has read her Bible morning and evening every day for this year. I am just blown away by that, because I know I've never done that. I know most adults don't do that. And I'm just like, where did you come from, child? So I am just super, super, super proud of her. Not that I'm not proud of my other children, but that is just such a really amazing accomplishment. And it's like, oh, that is so good. And she did that all on her own. Nobody forced her. I didn't hint at her. She just decided to do it. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. As always, it means the world to me. Leave a comment down below if you can relate to any of this, or if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Also, don't forget to like this video. It really, really does help my channel if you do that. If you are on Instagram, I'm over there. If you're looking for like really cool reels and like just amazing like homeschool inspiration, I'm not the person to go to, but I am there on Instagram. And if you have not already subscribed, I would love to have you here. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have the best day. Until next time, I'll see you later.